Hey there, listeners. I am Joanne Lee Cornish, your truth bomb dropper in the world of weight loss, body composition, and mastering the art of rocking the body you've always deserved and dreamed of in midlife and beyond. Let's cut through the noise. Society tells us it's downhill from now on. We're told to embrace the middle-aged weight gain, embrace the muscle loss and poor health. If that's your vibe, then cool. But if you're ready to defy the narrative, then I am your gal. This podcast is a no fluff podcast where we break down the essential truths of body composition, toss around some practical tips, and dissect the latest trends. I'm not here to sugarcoat. I'm here to show you what's not just possible, but downright probable for you. If you enjoy this content, be sure to click the link in the show notes to explore how we can team up and kick mediocrity to the curb. I offer one-on-one coaching, my ever-popular group coaching programs, and my corporate Educate to Elevate program. Okay, let's get on with the podcast. Enjoy. Water retention. Okay, let's see if I can do this topic justice on a podcast without a video, because water retention is the plague of some people's lives, especially ladies premenopause. But there are many reasons for water retention, and I am going to go through a few of them. Excuse me. There are two hormones responsible. Well, not that's not true. I started off well, didn't I? Let's talk about two hormones. There's more than two. Let's talk about two hormones responsible for water retention. The first one being aldosterone, and the second one being antidiuretic hormone. So let's start with aldosterone. So aldosterone is it's also triggered with the other stress hormones. It is a very fast-acting hormone. It's when aldosterone is present, there can be no sodium in your urine. Now, sodium holds water outside of the cell, or let's just say for the sake of this podcast, sodium holds water under your skin. Let's just say it for that reason. So when aldosterone is present and it's triggered by stress hormones, very fast-acting hormone, there can be no sodium in your urine. So you can't pee sodium out. So if you're not peeing sodium out, it is getting reabsorbed. Now, water follows sodium, so water is getting reabsorbed. And you feel very puffy, very bloated, and you are. Now, so that's aldosterone, often triggered by stress. I see this so often when, I'm not going to mention her name, but it was a former client of mine, and you definitely know who it is. But she would comment that every time she went on vacation and ate the wrong things and drank the wrong things, she would feel better in her bikini. She said, well, why do I feel more comfortable? And that's aldosterone for you, because she would go away on vacation, and she was a very high achieving person. She is a very high achieving person. And when she went away, there would be, no alarm clock, no work that she'd have to go to, and no appointments to keep. And she would relax and she would sleep in, and that stress hormone would come down, and she would actually lose a lot of water weight that she was holding on a daily basis. So although she wasn't eating the best and drinking adult beverages, she did feel better, and she did actually look better. Now, this argument about, when people lose weight and it's just water weight. Well, let's talk about water weight for a second. Water weight, the average person is probably walking around with 7% of their body weight in excess water weight, not critical water weight, excess body weight. That's a lot. So for somebody at my weight, that's at least an extra 6 pounds in excess water that doesn't need to be there and shouldn't be there, because if you've got water retention, you've probably got high blood pressure. I'll save that for another podcast. But when people poo-poo this, like, I just lost water weight, okay, that's the easiest one to lose for a start. And water weight, it sits under the skin. So it's the roll that hangs over your jeans. It's the flabby tricep. It's the puffiness. It looks like fat. It looks just like fat. It rolls over your pants just like fat. And you can get rid of it very easily. Just excess, not dehydration, just excess water that does not need to be there. So aldosterone is one of the reasons that we hold on to we retain water. Now, excuse me, I'm sniffing a little bit. I'm going to circle back around to aldosterone. Let's go on to antidiuretic hormone. So antidiuretic hormone, as the name suggests, is an antidiuretic. So a diuretic makes you lose water. So it's an antidiuretic hormone. So it's a hormone that is the opposite of diuretic. So it makes you retain water. So what ADH does, as it's fondly known, antidiuretic hormone, ADH. What ADH does is it is a very tight barometer of our hydration level. So as soon as it's sent, our body senses that the amount of water in our blood has dropped too low, that we're a little bit dehydrated, and this can be as little as 2%. Once it recognizes that, then the body can trigger antidiuretic hormone to make us retain water to make up for the dehydrated state we are in. So all you people that don't drink enough water, you might want to reconsider that, because if you're not drinking enough water and you are slightly dehydrated, the body is smarter than our dumb actions. I love using that quote. And it will, antidiuretic hormone will go and try and right our wrongs and will try and make us retain water. Well, it will make us retain water. So you can tell if you're dehydrated, and you can tell if antidiuretic hormone is playing a role in your water retention, because if you look at your pee, it will be orange, or it'll be dark orange. We want your pee to be very pale, like a pale eggshell. That sounds pretty good. Too clear. We would rather it be clear. So take a look next time you're in there and see if you're hydrated enough. Now, this also follows through for alcohol. So the conundrum is, why am I always so bloated after drinking when alcohol is meant to be a diuretic? Well, this is how it works. So when we drink alcohol, it is true, alcohol does dehydrate us. So while we are drinking, we are dehydrated, and the body, look at your pee again, it will be orange. But the next day, antidiuretic hormone will kick in with a vengeance, because you've been dehydrated temporarily because of the alcohol. Antidiuretic hormone is going to kick you in the butt, and you are going to blow up like a balloon. Hence the puffy eyes, your rings don't fit, your socks are tight, etc., etc. That's antidiuretic hormone doing its job. And again, guys, the body is absolutely fascinating, and we think we can trick it and maneuver it. And I mean, we have to learn to work with it, not try and go up against it. So these hormones, if you're slightly dehydrated, the body's going to kick in antidiuretic hormone. If you are stressed, the body's going to pump out aldosterone. Now, I could go on more and more about aldosterone. If you are interested in this, then I would suggest you come and do my 5-day peak week shred, which I only offer maybe a couple of times a year, but it's coming up on January now I've got to look at my notes. Hold on. January the 21st, I had to look. So I've got Victory Vault first, and then I've got the 5-day peak week shred, where people lose an astonishing amount of weight. Plenty of people have lost, a couple of guys lost 16 pounds, 14 pounds. Usually people lose 8 to 9 pounds. And I'm not there to say that, oh, wow, they lost all 9 pounds of fat. Of course they didn't. But what they did do was lose some of the excess water weight, not critical water weight. They lost that weight that doesn't need to be there. It's super simple. And there's no exercise requirement, no sweat bags or anything like that. So with aldosterone, when it's present, there can be no, guys, quick plug, if you want to do the 5-day peak week shred, depending on when you're listening to this, it's coming up really soon. Just go to www.5dayshred, 5dayshred.com, or go to theshrinkshop.com and look it up there. And if you're listening to this and you've missed it, just shoot me an email and I'll make sure you're on my mailing list. Anyway, with aldosterone, so there can be, when aldosterone is present, there can be no sodium in your urine. If sodium is not getting peed out, it is getting reabsorbed, and water is following sodium and it is getting reabsorbed as well. Now, what you can do is you can sweat sodium out. So you could sweat it out, but you just can't, you can breathe out, but you just can't pee it out. I'm hesitating because, like, do I go down the rabbit hole? If you don't know me, I always go down the rabbit hole. So aldosterone, you can't excrete sodium, but what you are excreting is potassium, and you're excreting a lot of potassium. Potassium holds water in the muscle within the cell. If you lose potassium, you're going to be very tired, you're going to get cramps and things like this. So the balance is completely thrown off when aldosterone is in play. Again, oh my gosh, now I'm thinking of so many stories. How many ladies have I got ready for a wedding and they feel better on their honeymoon? Like, oh, I felt so bloated on my wedding day, and on the honeymoon I felt great. Aldosterone. The vacation, I felt so much better on my vacation. Aldosterone. If you don't know, I'm a former professional bodybuilder back when the sport was somewhat sane, and I've trained a lot of people for competition. And what happens is those newbies in competition, those people new to it, they're very excited and it's very cute. But the week before the show, they're cramming in an extra hour of cardio and they're missing sleep to get that extra workout in. And the work should be done at that point. But what they are doing is they're triggering aldosterone. And when they're triggering aldosterone, then they can't get rid of water weight. And they get on stage and they look waterlogged. Anybody that's got an experienced eye like I have, you can see them a mile off. They're holding so much water because they didn't chill out a couple of days before the show. So they've got aldosterone. I don't care what water pills they're doing. I don't care what water tricks they're doing. They're going to retain water because the body is smarter than our dumb actions. And then a couple of days out after the show, they're going to look wicked. They're going to look so good and they're going to be so upset. These are all examples of aldosterone. Now, so aldosterone and ADH. Now, what else can be causing water retention? So cortisol. Cortisol absolutely will trigger aldosterone. So if you're stressed, you're going to be retaining water. Estrogen, ladies. So when you're getting into that perimenopause stage and you may have some estrogen dominance going on, so estrogen will make you retain water. I mean, I am 56 now, but when I was about 46, I'm going to say 46, 47, when the circus first started. I call it the circus because, ladies, if you know, you know, it's a circus. Anyway, one of the first signs for me was excessive water weight. Like, I felt I was just drowning in my own body for at least 3/4 of every month. And that can be the estrogen dominance. And I always feel like I'm plugging my programs, and I am, but the Mastering Midlife program that comes up in June, I talk all about that. So if you're retaining more water than usual and you're of a certain age, get your blood work done. The blood work can tell you so much. I will probably do a podcast on what to look for in your blood work. That seems to be a very popular topic that I cover in my programs. Anyway, what else? All right. Insulin. Insulin triggers inflammation, which triggers aldosterone. If you're in a high insulin state, insulin resistant, pre-diabetic, diabetic, then you are also triggering aldosterone, and you are going to be retaining water. So we don't like retaining water. It doesn't feel particularly good. It can feel like you're living in the wrong body. You know, when you gain like 7 pounds overnight, and guys, if you're listening, it's a real thing. No joke. Lady, it's a doozy. But on a more serious note, what does water retention do? Water retention is very much linked to high blood pressure. I mean, if you've got it very much linked to high blood pressure. So if you have got water retention, so follow me here. If you have more water in your blood, so imagine a hose with water going through it, but now you have more water going through it. Okay, so there's more pressure on that hose. You've got higher pressure in the hose. You've got higher blood pressure. So water retention isn't just about, you know, not looking as cute or feeling all puffy or your wings not feeling, or that sock line around your ankles. It is about high blood pressure. And guys, this is a killer. When I do my 5-day peak week shred, people come into that program because they want to lose a bunch of weight. And that's a given. I've been doing that program for over 30 years. It's a slam dunk. It's very simple, pretty boring. I'm just a pretty good coach. And but it's the non-scale victories that I'm always thrilled by. I mean, I know everyone's going to drop the weight. That's a given. Anyway, if you want to do it, come look for the program. But the other victories I get from that program are things like people's blood pressure goes into the normal range within the 5-day program. Their resting heart rate comes down to normal within the first 2 days. But I mean, your blood pressure can come straight down with that program for a few reasons. I just totally went off on a tangent about blood pressure, didn't I? But it's because blood pressure is linked to water retention. But if I just touch on blood pressure for a moment, and I caveat here, I'm not a doctor. I have absolutely no medical experience whatsoever. I'm just a geek about this stuff. So if you're not sure about anything I say, go talk to your doctor, okay? They did a lot of years in school, and they've got student loans to prove it. When it comes to blood pressure, people connect the dots with sodium. And indeed, some people, I think it's something like 30% of the population, don't quote me on that, are indeed salt sensitive. So they do, if they have too much sodium, then sodium makes them retain water, and then now they're retaining water, now their blood pressure's gone up. But the absolute quickest way to bring your blood pressure down, and this is why, one of the reasons why my peak week 5-day shred works so well, is sugar. If you drop sugar, it will bring blood pressure down faster than anything. Water retention plagues both male and female. Women, we tend to look more sensitive because it's visually, our body literally changes. It's crazy. Guys, you might not be as worried about the physical stuff, but please check your blood pressure. Gosh, I lost 2 people this year because of blood pressure in their 50s. So please take note on that. And what can you do about it? So I've just said, stop with the sugar. Sugar causes an insulin response. Insulin causes inflammation. Inflammation is going to cause aldosterone. Try and reduce your stress level. I know that's easier said than done, but for the sake of this very short podcast, focus on getting more sleep. You will notice when you are sleep deprived, you don't look good. Your face is puffy, and when you got good night's sleep, it's like the best facial in the world. It's no joke, okay? We can reduce that aldosterone. It's a very fast-acting hormone, so it switches on very fast, but we can switch it off very fast as well. So that's the good news. Get your hormones checked. But what can you do? What can you do supplement-wise? So there is a don't be taking diuretics, guys. I know you can probably buy them online at some weird website, but don't be taking diuretics. If you take a diuretic, you're going to dehydrate yourself. And all that's going to happen is your body's going to be like, okay, I'm dehydrated. You're so smart. Now I'm going to release antidiuretic hormone. And we're going to bloat you full of water again. So don't do the diuretics. You know what I'm going to say? Drink more water, because when you drink more water, you flush more water. We should all be drinking more water, but If you want to drink water to get rid of water retention, then drink the water fast. So say you have half a gallon or something like that, drink it in a few hours, drink it fast. That's how you will flush excess water out. If you're drinking for hydration, that's not the best technique. And you should actually, continue drinking all day, but letting the tissues actually absorb the water. So, but if you're retaining water, just chug, 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 chug for a couple of days, and it will make a huge difference. Usually just the water alone, I can get 4 pounds off people. Also, dandelion root tea. So dandelion root tea is a natural liver cleanse. It does help with it especially is helpful with the hormonal water weight. Use it when you need it. If you start using it all the time, it won't work. If you just have a puffy day and you have some dandelion root tea, it can help you shed those extra water pounds. So water retention, it is signifying lifestyle choices, behaviors, stress levels, but it is also very much linked to blood pressure, guys. And please keep an eye on that. I mean, I think those home cuffs cost like $35. If you're of a certain age, get your blood work done. You might be doing everything right, but you might be in a place of estrogen dominance. And estrogen dominance is going to show up. One of the ways it's going to show up is water retention and anxiety. So that's a nice little pairing, isn't it? Gosh, did I do a good job on that? I don't know. It came up with a client of mine today, so I thought I'd jump on it and do a quick podcast. This is a big subject. So in my Peak Week 5-day shred, I talk about water retention with regards to body composition, but it is interesting how people's blood pressure goes down and heart rate comes down in that program. And in my Mastering Midlife program, which won't come around till the middle of this year, I talk about water retention with regards to blood pressure and how to deal with that. But for the time being, try and reduce your stress. Focus on your sleep. Drink plenty of water. If you are a certain occasion has left you feeling bloated, maybe a holiday party, chug water pretty fast for the next couple of days, and that will really, really help. Do your blood work, check your insulin. I can't tell you how often I see this. If insulin is not in your blood work, you can buy it online. I use a company called lifeextension.com. It is a $30 test. It is all information, guys, but our body is way smarter than our dumb actions. So if you think you're going to go to a hot yoga to get rid of water retention, good luck, because you're going to sweat it all out. The body's going to realize you're dehydrated and it's going to puff you back up again. If you think you're going to sweat it out any other way, it's going to do that. If you think you're going to be able to, take a water pill and get rid of water retention, good luck with that, because it might work for a minute, but if you do that over and over, you're going to be water laden, because the body's smarter than that. It has all these other actions for everything, all these reactions for all the actions you're doing. We have to work with the body, not try it and trick it and maneuver it into what we want it to do. But as is illustrated by what happens with my clients when they do a simple 5-day program, and for many people, their blood pressure comes way down and their resting heart rate comes way down. Or if you simply take sugar out of your diet and your blood pressure comes down, tiny, simple actions, and the body so wants to respond positively. Your body is seeking to be healthy. All we have to do is treat it correctly. And far too often, we think we can beat our body into submission. We think we can, skip some sleep and do an hour's cardio. Yeah, right. Okay. Or we think we can starve it and it's not going to adapt to that. Or we think we can exercise our way out of a bad diet. And yeah, our body's not going to adapt to that. Our body is so much smarter than all the foolishness we try and trick it with. So that is water retention. If you haven't listened to me before, then that is a good indication of how I coach. I am an information giver. I will go down the rabbit hole, and hopefully I take confusing, somewhat dull information and I turn it into a fascinating topic. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you found that interesting. If you would like to find out more about me, then check the show notes. My website is in there, www.theshrinkshop.com. You can find out how we can work together. I have programs coming up. I have 6 programs, a lot of coaching. If you like the content, you will love my programs. Also, if you've got any topics that you want me to cover, then just shoot me a quick message and I'm happy to discuss. Until next time, stay curious.